Hi, and welcome to RedBird Stock Analysis Tool video tutorial series, a series of 10 video tutorials to help new users learn and understand the RedBird product. In video tutorial number 8, we will look at account trades and transactions. We're going to assume that users have set up their investment goals and risk profiles. We're going to assume that users have defined and screened some active stocks and they've defined some portfolios. We're going to assume that users have activated the system at least once and performed a current system update. We're also going to assume that users have an intention or desire to complete one or more types of transactions on the account, such as a stock purchase, a stock sale, a cash deposit, or cash withdrawal. In this session, we will look at overall account settings and controls. We're going to look at how to complete cash withdrawals and cash deposits. We're going to show users how to initiate and complete a stock buy or a stock sell, either driven by a opportunity recommendation or just a normal stock buy or stock sell initiative. We're also going to look at the impact of all types of transactions on things like account balances and actual performance metrics. To get started, let's bring up the RedBird product. Okay, a couple things to point out first. One is that we have 4 different types of transactions that we can initiate on the account. If I go over to the Account Transaction tab, this monitor will always display a list of all the historical transactions that have been performed on the overall account. Recall that there's only a single account in the system that holds cash, so any transactions performed would be against this one simulated bank account, and all users share this one account. At present, the account has $741 available cash. It has a total holdings of any stocks that are held, total market value of $235.86. So together, this provides us with an overall account value, if we include cash plus market value of all holdings, of $976.88. Let's now look at a couple of the settings we can configure for the overall fund account. As the administrator, I have a couple of options. Number one, if I click on the Portfolios button up here, and then click on the Investment Portfolios tab, there's a few settings I have in the top left-hand corner here that I can use to establish starting balances, limits on the transactions, minimum cash, and so forth, things that can control some of the transactions. If I click Exit, and then I click on the System button here, in the Operations tab, over on the right-hand side are some additional constraints and controls where I can prohibit trades, account transactions, depending on certain things such as whether the market is open or closed, or whether the data in the system is current, up to date, or not. So those are the 2 areas where we can establish some general controls on the overall fund account. Now let's look specifically at each of the 4 transaction types. We'll first look at depositing cash. So let's assume that we want to deposit more cash into our account so that we have more available there to execute opportunities, recommendations, or perform various types of transactions. So to deposit cash, I go to the Account Transactions tab, and then I click on the Deposit Cash button. I immediately get a screen that asks me to confirm the amount that I wish to deposit. So I'm going to say $200. Comment, I'm not going to put any comment in there. I'm going to go ahead and say Transfer Cash. It's going to ask me another confirmation. I'm going to click Yes. And immediately I'll notice that my balances have been updated. So my cash balance has gone up by $200. My total account value has gone up by $200. My total holdings hasn't been affected because this was not a stock trade. And then I'll also notice that a transaction has been logged to the transaction history. If I want to remove cash from the account, then I can click on the Withdraw Cash button. I'll get a similar screen, and let's say I want to remove $100 of the $200 that I just deposited. I'll click $100, okay, and then an opportunity to cancel or confirm. So I'm going to go ahead and say Confirm. So I'm going to go ahead and click Withdraw Cash. It'll just give me another confirmation message, and I'll say Yes. Now I'll notice a couple things again. I'll notice my available cash has gone down by $100, and that transaction has been added to my history. Now, obviously, if I've set up controls ahead of time that limit the value of certain transactions or the minimum cash I'm allowed to have, then I may not be able to do all the deposits and withdrawals that I want. Those will be controlled. Okay, so those are cash deposits and withdrawals, And the only reason for doing that is to simulate any behavior that you're doing with your real investment accounts. Again, recall that RedBird is not an actual online trading system or banking tool, but you can simulate that behavior. Now let's look at the stock transactions. We're going to first look at a stock buy. To buy stocks, there's a couple of ways to initiate that. One way is to just decide on your own that you wish to purchase stock. So you can find the stock symbol within your portfolio view, or you can find the stock symbol within the stock monitor, and you can go ahead and just buy that stock. So that's what I call self-initiative. There's no signal or opportunity or nothing from the RedBird system that suggests that you buy that stock, but you just want to go ahead and buy that stock based on your own rationale. The other way to initiate a buy is if you see a buy opportunity or a buy recommendation, and you wish to execute that suggested recommendation or opportunity. Okay? In either case, you're going to end up with the same buy transaction that you can confirm and complete. So let's look at both options. If I click on portfolio number 2, I'll notice that I have a buy opportunity being suggested here for the Yahoo stock. Again, my system isn't current. My market data isn't current. I'm going to assume that it is current. Normally, I wouldn't execute an opportunity unless the data were current. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just right-click on this. Right-click on this entry, and I'm going to say Execute Buy Opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to take the opportunity that's being suggested to me, and I'm going to go ahead and execute that. As soon as we execute the opportunity, we'll immediately notice that RedBird has presented a stock purchase confirmation screen. On this screen, RedBird will attempt to set the recommended or maximum quantity that can be purchased, and it will do that by assessing any account controls that we have in terms of transaction limits, as well as the available cash that we have, and any portfolio mixtures that have been defined. So in this case, 50 is the most units that I could purchase of the Yahoo stock under these circumstances. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 1 unit only. I'll leave the trade commission with the system default. The actual price is based on the last time that RedBird performed a system update or market update. It's been a couple of days, but I'll just leave that price and pretend as though it was a current price. Below that, of course, it indicates the impact of this pending transaction on the account balances. So I'm going to go ahead and click Buy Stock. I will then click Yes to confirm. This transaction is now completed based on that information, and we'll notice a couple of impacts. First of all, we'll notice that our account balances have changed slightly, so the cash position has decreased and the amount of holdings that we have of stock has increased. We'll also notice if we click on the account transactions that this last transaction here has been logged to the transaction log. Okay, and that was all achieved by us finding a buy opportunity and then going ahead to execute that buy opportunity. If we don't want to buy stocks only when we see opportunities, we can find any stock that we want, either on the portfolio monitor or on the stock monitor, and we can just go ahead and click the buy button, and that will buy units of that stock independent of any opportunity or recommendation. The last thing I want to look at here is the sell transaction. Again, we can sell stocks based on a sell opportunity or recommendation that RedBird presents to us, or we can just sell stocks anytime we want as long as we're holding units of that stock. So I'll look at the former scenario. I noticed that in portfolio number 1, I've got a sell opportunity and sell recommendation here from RedBird. So I'm going to go ahead and execute that suggested trade. So I highlight that stock, I click the right button, and I say Execute Sell Opportunity. I can also select Sell Recommendation as well. It has the same impact. So once again, RedBird presents a confirmation screen. It's going to, once again, limit the quantity that I can sell based upon a number of factors. In this case, it's limited by the number of units that I'm actually holding, which is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and just accept these default values. I understand the impact on my account balances down here. I'll go ahead and confirm the sale of the stock. That transaction is completed. And once again, my cash position has gone up because I've sold stocks. My holdings have gone down. My account transactions have been updated and so forth. Okay, so we've just reviewed the 4 types of transactions that we can execute on the simulated account. And that concludes tutorial number 8.